Summer it is then. Summer in DST is a season that people mostly forget exists. It's almost a throwaway season where people will go into the caves to avoid dealing with the season entirely. Or the player sits around the oasis for the entire duration of the season. It's one of the main reasons oasis bases are so frequent, just so that way people don't have to deal with summer's mechanics, such as spontaneous fires, withered plants, and lack of resources. Is there anything interesting about summer that we are missing? Well, let's find out. First, let's talk about insulation. There is some information going around that winter insulation will not affect you during summer, and this is true, but there is a type of insulation that does affect you in summer, and that is the built-in insulation of beards and mightiness. Beards won't make you gain heat faster. Normally the player will warm up or cool down by 1 degree a second. This right here is unaffected by beards, but characters with beards or built-in insulation affect how summer insulation affects the player. You can see here I have Wilson with the maxed out beard, and then I equip the umbrella, and Wilson still heats up at the same rate, almost like he doesn't even have the insulation at all. The beard counteracts the umbrella's insulation. Shaving off the beard though will fix this, so if you want to use insulation in summer, try to make sure you don't have any beards for Wilson or Weber. Woody is just out of luck here since he can't shave. The same applies to Wolfgang as well during his mighty form. All of this only matters if you're using clothing though. If you're using just a normal thermal stone, these values don't matter. If you want characters that are better in summer though, Willow, Woodworm, and Wolfgang all have built-in natural insulation for summer. On that note, have you ever noticed that summer insulation is like way better than winter insulation, even though they have the exact same stats? That's because summer is the only season that provides the player with insulation throughout the day. It does this by making dusk and night provide summer insulation to the player, dusk providing 60 insulation and night providing 120. Things get cooler as the sun goes down. And that also applies to the world temperature. You may not notice, but day and night also have different temperatures. During the day, the ambient temperature increases by 8 degrees, and at night the temperature decreases by 10 degrees. This day-night temperature mechanic is particularly useful in summer. The nighttime makes weaker cooling more effective, meaning you can use the whirly fan or even trees to keep yourself cool during the night. This temperature change is also why caves is safe during summer. Caves have a temperature multiplier of 0.6. So during the hottest part of summer, the temperature in the caves would just be 57 degrees. This is why many people just go spelunking in the summer. But if you do choose to explore the surface during the summer, most people will probably just tell you to use 2 thermal stones and have a fridge to keep them cool, and that most summer insulation is pretty useless. But honestly, they're way more interesting than you think. Ignoring the standard insulation items like the umbrella and the flower vest, there are items that provide a cooling effect to the player. These items are the whirly fan, the fashion melon, and the ice cube. You may also know that trees provide a cooling effect during the summer. However, trees only cool you to a max of 63 degrees. Their usefulness dwindles as the season gets hotter, almost to the point where they become ineffective, but you can combine the cooling effects of different items to make it possible to never overheat during the summer. But straight off the bat, the ice cube is the best item alone in the summer. If you're wearing this and you're at the 50% wetness that the cube provides, you will never overheat in summer. It is a combination of the cooling effect plus wetness lowering the perceived temperature, as well as the ice cube providing 240 insulation. And you can also acquire this immunity to overheating by using the fashion melon. How you do this is based on wetness. Wetness provides a change in perceived temperature for the player. Every point of wetness decreases the player's perceived temperature by 0.3, capping at 30 degrees at 100 wetness, meaning 100% wetness will protect you from the hottest days in summer. But summer itself also has a really high drying factor, so you would have to consistently wet yourself to keep the temperature bonus. This is where the melon hat comes in. The melon hat lets the player retain any wetness they accumulate. The world will not dry you off while you have these items equipped, unless you get near a heat source like a fire or the furnace. I think that's it for the unique insulation perks summer gives. Now let's cover the things that everyone loves about summer: wildfires, withering, and sandstorms. So let's get to burning. Wildfires will occur in a world that has an ambient temperature of 80 degrees. This is why you don't see wildfires at the start of summer or at the end of summer. It's just not hot enough for them to start. This is also why the player does not see wildfires at night either. The world must also not be wet, making rain a good deterrent for wildfires. The player will have a 20% chance that an item that is flammable within the 25 unit radius will start smoldering. This occurs every 45 seconds. Wildfires check for canopy and shade and if the player is in a sandstorm. Pretty simple mechanic actually. Lure plants also have high priority for wildfires. Next is Withering. Withering starts at 70 degrees world temperature, and it takes about 15 seconds for the plant to officially wither. The plant then needs to reach a minimum of 55 degrees in the world for it to rejuvenate naturally. And now for a quick fire round for things that seem interesting but aren't. Berger has a shorter travel range in summer compared to autumn. Perishables in summer perish faster at a 1.25 rate. Rabbit holes will come back in summer, and cactus grows back 2 times as fast, as well as has its flower. Summer speeds up how fast cocoon dens repair themselves after all 9 cocoons died. If you use the whirly fan while running and unequip it, the fan remembers it was being used and stays that way. So if you equip it again, you can get the cooling effects and the insulation without needing to run around and use the fan's durability. That is all I can find about summer. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a lot about a season everyone avoids. Let me know if you want me to continue with the other seasons. We're left with winter and autumn. Until next time, this has been Tara, and take care.